Do you do things because they're enjoyable, or do you go towards the things that look good and look or feel good, or do you stay away from the things that look bad and feel bad, or that are stressful and go towards the things that are easier? That's not your true nature. That's not who you are. You don't That's just not who we really are. Like it's just we've been programmed with a nature that is just absolutely destroying us, and we don't see that it's because we see things, do things that way, and follow this path of least resistance. Which, I mean, honestly, yeah, nature does it, but it doesn't do it just because nature doesn't mean we also have to. I mean, we do. I mean, sure, you could go to the store and say, well, it's easier to go to the store and buy something already pre-made than have to make it yourself. But it's like that's, you could say that's the path of least resistance, but that's only because you see it and it feels that way. It just, or you can make something at home. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna grow my own garden. It's gonna take a lot of work. Then I have to prepare all this and blah blah blah. And then I'm gonna grab my vegetables and then gonna ferment them and do all this other stuff. And like, it's like, well, that's just stupid. I'd rather just go to the grocery store and buy it when I need it. It's like, if you don't see that it's you that's the problem, it's like, if you don't see that it's because you do things, try to take the path of least resistance instead of just honestly just doing things because they're enjoyable. I mean, sure, planting a garden can be hard. Sure, fermenting can be time consuming, and doing everything can be all kinds of, oh, but it looks difficult, and I have to spend so much energy, and honestly, it's because you look at it that way and actually do it and actually like let it happen that way, instead of just letting things happen naturally. Like, you just do it, not for you don't do it for any other reason or any reason at all. You just do it just because it happens, just because it is that way. You're no longer trying to download anything. You're not like, oh, it feels that way, I'm not gonna do it. Oh, it looks that way, I'm not gonna do it. Oh, it's too stressful, I'm not gonna do it. Oh, it's just too much danger involved, I'm not gonna do it. Instead, you just let it happen. Instead, you don't think about it, you just do it. Look at the best example is, look at Finding Nemo. Nemo's dad versus Dory. Dory, she may have no memory whatsoever, like at all, and yet she survives. She gets through everything. And the dad's always thinking critically, always trying to make it safe. Oh, that doesn't feel right. Oh, blah blah blah. And look at what that ends him up. Look at Dory. She just acts like almost instinct, like it just happens. She just lets it happen and she just makes it through. It's like when we follow that kind of way, when you, instead of just receiving something, in this case a thought, a feeling, a type of danger or whatever it is, and instead of letting that be the cause of your decision making, instead of just that being the cause of your decision, unless you just kind of just let it happen, almost comes from the inside out versus the outside in, then you'll notice your life begin to change when you no longer are about receiving a command and basing and going like, oh, what should I do, instead of just letting it happen, instead of actually planning things out, just letting them happen, so it's an inside out versus an outside in experience. Then you notice your whole life will just transform into something. And honestly, if you look at everything, society, people, schools, civilization, it's always about planning. It's always about taking care of what looks right. What you have to think about it. You have to, let me think about it. That doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. Don't, not inside, but it doesn't feel right. Oh, it's just too much danger. That's too much work, because it looks like that. And instead of just letting it happen instead of just like literally just almost like it came from nowhere, like it came from nowhere kind of experience. When you begin to do things because of that, you start to just almost feel things. It's like you pull energy from nothing and it feels things. So it's like you're not having to use something to get something in return. And you know how that happens. You end up with less and less energy every time. Eventually you just run out. Versus instead of like using nothing to get nothing in return, in the end it just stays the same. It's infinite because it never uses any energy at all. It never wastes the energy it uses, so therefore it's almost like it's nothing, but it's still, in a sense, happens. That's life.